Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. This is going to be a bit of a different video from our normal videos. For those of you who do not know, I have been in the financial world, I would say roughly around since 2010, 2011, 2012. I got into cryptocurrencies roughly around 2013, 14, 15, 16, somewhere around there, more heavily into it around 2016 before I was kind of standing on the sidelines. One of the reasons why I was standing on the sidelines is because I was terrified. I was terrified of getting into finance. I was terrified of getting into stocks. I was terrified of getting into mutual funds. I was terrified of getting into real estate. I was terrified of getting into the cryptocurrency space because I kept on hearing that things were going to collapse or going to fail or going to implode, as it were. And I noticed only years and years later that a large portion of the news that I had received about the cryptocurrency market and about the stock market and about the future of price collapses and stock market crashes and stock market recessions and stock market depressions had been manipulated in some sort of way. I'm going to start showing you, maybe it's already popped up, I don't exactly know, a number of things that have been happening over the last couple of years. I have noticed, this is me myself, from my own personal experience, that a large amount of the news that is actually manufactured within the economic world is simply meant to terrify normal people. What I mean by that is, as you can see now popping up on the screen, is that I'm showing you articles from a very long time ago, basically until now. I had assumed before I got into finance that every single day was absolutely terrible for the financial world. I thought that if you put money into the market, you were going to lose it. If you try to even begin to invest, you would also lose your money eventually as well, that it was a game that was only for the rich, which it is, which I am going to also explain as well. I also knew a number of family members who had at one point put money into the stock markets and had actually lost nearly all of their money. This was roughly around the time of the 2008 crisis, which had only begun to solidify my idea that putting money into this market was an absolutely egregious idea. For those of you who remember, I hope all of you do not forget that a lot of these things have happened. By the time we got to 2020 and we were all told that we could not leave our premises, that's the plural of premises, and we were told to, basically do what we had to do, a large number of people began to invest online. And this is when we had the entire Wall Street bets, when we had the GameStop and Bed Bath & Beyond stock fiasco that was going on, where tons of normal people were making money. You've heard me talk about it before. I think it's one of the more interesting parts of human history and even more of the financial world that people were able to actually get into this space. I noticed very quickly after I had already been within the financial world for a number of years that a lot of the news that was being shown was extremely negative. And in what way? What am I talking about? We knew that normal people were making large amounts of money. I mean, really good, firm amounts of money that were benefiting them in some sort of way. We had stories of people being able to pay for a new car, put a down payment on a home, help their dog get his leg fixed. You name it, we heard all these types of stories, and it was because that normal people had realized while being at home that they could actually access this market. A lot of the news, however, that was flowing out was that the stock market was about to crash. Things were about to fall. Things were going to go lower. People who were putting their money into this market were playing a fool's game. Things were going to collapse. These people had to take their money out of the market right now. And then the saddest part for me had always been that the news, it was basically a bunch of millionaires and billionaires who were going on to the news on CNBC, on Fox Business, you name it, to tell normal people who had normal jobs that they should not be investing. Why should they not be investing? Because these millionaires and billionaires had been shorting or betting against GameStop and a bunch of other companies who they thought were going to fail. But the moment that the masses got together and put their money together and basically, and in essence, outsmarted these rich people, the rich people became terrified and became quite annoyed. Why are you in this market? What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be doing something else? Don't you have a normal day job? Basically trying to break down normal people. And it's the same exact way of the things that you're seeing that are now popping up on the screen. It's the idea that you should be terrified. You should be afraid. This market is not for you. You have to watch out. Everything is going to be bad. There's going to be a stock market crash, collapse, etc., etc. The reason I'm making this video is because I want to show you that in essence, and I know this will sound weird, is basically that you should not be afraid. Markets have cycles and they always go down and then they always go up. And this is based off of a good 200 years worth of knowledge that we have as humans for the markets that began 200 or so years ago. If you look back at the beginning of Wall Street, if you look back at old markets in Northern Europe, in the Netherlands, et cetera, where all of these things began to happen, there's always a downturn and then there's always a movement back up. However, what we're currently experiencing now is, I believe, far more insidious. It's a world that exists where people who have and own basically everything want to continue to have this world be in their favor. I personally, maybe other people can, I can't imagine a reality or a world where I own $50 billion. That is billion with a B, and I do everything that I can to make sure that everyone else fails or falters or doesn't ever get close to where I currently am. And this is once again, this is something that I never want to experience, simply because I think at that point you are no longer human. You've kind of devolved into something else completely. The lie of the constant, and now at this point in the video, you've been looking. If you've been looking at the screen and you've been looking at the dates, this is from every single year. Every single year, there's some, and these are the ones that I could actually fit into the video. Understand how many images that are currently popping up right now. I do all my editing. I do everything by myself. It took me a while to find all of these things. They all exist because they all keep happening every single year. It's the same story over and over. These are meant for normal people. These articles that you're seeing, it's meant to basically terrify you in a way to let you know and understand that you should not be putting your money into the market, that you should continue working your 9 to 5. This is what I find so powerful, I'd say, about the cryptocurrency market, in that it is easily accessible to everyone in the world out there. And even then, over the last couple of years, we've seen an egregious amount of millionaires and billionaires and governments telling people that they should not be into crypto. Crypto's evil, crypto's terrible, crypto's absolutely horrible. You should not be into this. The market's going to completely collapse. And then recently, over the last 2 years or so, we have a large amount of wealthy individuals who years ago were telling everyone else that they should not get into the cryptocurrency market. They're now in the cryptocurrency market, talking about how amazing Bitcoin is, how awesome Ethereum is, how much Bitcoin they have, and how Bitcoin is going to change the world. Why didn't you tell people that before? Why did you make sure that they were completely terrified of everything that was happening within the markets, whether it be true or not? It did not end up coming to fruition. And I think that 2020 actually became a gigantic turning point, not only for the world, for the world's economy, but also for the cryptocurrency space. And this is why I think that we are seeing a large amount of investors talking about exactly where Bitcoin's price is going to go. And I think the cat is kind of out of the bag. To kind of finish the thought before I ramble on forever, because this is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. I have these channels because I do want normal people, air quotes, to be able to profit from these markets that end up going up. We've seen so many other times before. You've seen the articles, how millionaires are made, how people are becoming billionaires from the cryptocurrency space, from the stock market, you name it. And it's because you have access to these markets. But there are larger forces at play, regardless of how tinfoil hatty that might sound, that are trying to make sure that you don't get into it. They are the rich. They are the top of the pie. They are the cherry on top who wants to make sure that no one else actually has access to this. We keep getting news and have been getting news for a while that the people who basically own everything on the planet own even more of everything on the planet every single year. I remember years and years ago when I was younger hearing about this information. I believe it was several hundred or around 1,000 people who held the wealth of around half of the planet. That already is hyper dystopian. Whether if you don't understand those numbers, it's bad. It's not a good thing. And then you talk about that number got dwindled down to around 200 people. It got pushed down to around 50 people owning the wealth of 4 billion people. And now I think it's roughly around 6 individuals on the planet. 6 people own more wealth than 4 billion people. And this has been carefully planned out by them over the course of multiple generations to make sure that for some reason that we stay down, that we don't have the money, that we have no power, whether it be economically and or mentally, to understand that we can also be inside of these markets as well. I think it's a really good thing that there are so many, and I say this lightly, that there are other financial YouTubers out there. I think a lot of people are quite scammy in their methods and what they're trying to get people to do or believe how easy it is to become rich. It does take time. I was not able to get to where I am overnight. It took me a couple of years, but I still ended up getting there. And you can do the exact same thing. Once again, the point of this video is just to show you everything that you've been seeing over the last couple of minutes, to let you understand that all of this has been manufactured. We've been told constantly over and over again that we should not be in these markets, and we should. We have the right also to make money. We have the right also to not work until we're 65, until we're 67, until we're 70, because the markets do exist that we can get into, that we can make money from, that we can get dividends from, that we can start staking from within the cryptocurrency space as well, and that we don't have to work for the rest of our lives to make sure that we continue making the people who own everything even richer than they already are. Bit of an intense video. Sorry for the intensity, as it were. But I just really wanted you to understand, especially with all the images, keeping in mind everything I showed you happened every single year. While we got news that all these people were making tons of money, becoming extremely rich, these same people who were making 250 million in a year still went on TV and told everyone that the market was going to go down and that they should get out, while they knew that the market was going to go up and that they would become richer. Crazy, right? I do sincerely hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.